Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, September 12, 2025. My Bacardo's Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:10 a.m. on the dot. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. We are in the United States, and it's the place for the brave. Like the veterans we will salute today, thanks to our man John Basiliga and his great family of companies, including Basiliga Hospitality. Leonard Koval, Wilkes-Barre, John Fatula, Hazleton, James Newell, Harvey's Lake, Ralph Middaugh, Ashley, Reverend Rick Clark, Lebanon, Chet Stackhouse, Bloomsburg. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding that our government is not to be, cannot be, shall not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. It was not something that could be controlled by government or government officials. Our great American Constitution, well, it ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, whether they use it to make it all up or not. We know better. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them, uniquely in the world, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that because of our commitment to common sense, truth, fact, and reality, we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world where the Democrat Party and the left just making it all up. Yeah, we'll do that for the balance of the morning. So I'm going to continue to play some Charlie Kirk today, Monday. I just think he was a force for great good. And we had the disgrace yesterday. I mean, this is the level to which the Democrat Party has descended. And we'll maybe find a clip for you, but with the press conference and a bunch of things, we've got a lot to do today. A Republican congressman asked for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, and several Democrats who were on or near the floor vocally objected. These are sick people serving in the United States Congress as Democrats. And I mean sick, mentally ill. The perspective they see and come from is twisted and maybe even evil. Crazy stuff. And by the way, I heard President Trump's, I've heard the morning show at the end, President Trump's statement that the primary, if not exclusive, lunacy from radicals is coming from the left. Well, it is. Somebody texted me yesterday, well, what about the, and I apologize, I couldn't get to it yesterday, state representatives in Minnesota who got shot. Well, they got shot because they voted against providing Medicaid to illegal aliens. That's why they got shot. I'm willing to listen to information here, more information, when they played Governor Shapiro, who we know is a liar. He lied about abortion. He lied about Medicaid cuts. All the Democrats have. So, I mean, what is going on here? So now we're going to blow, well, you lied about this, you lied about that, you can't even protect the governor's mansion, but we're going to believe you now. I mean, he comes on the morning show and gets a patty cake interview. So, fine. But let's not change the facts. Cinderblock checking in. He says, pretty disgusting to hear Josh Shapiro clicking his tongue and wagging his finger at President Trump for calling out the violence on the left, saying Trump needs to stop stirring the pot and denounce violence on all sides. Sorry, but Shapiro might have to take a stand because the multiple assassination attempts, the shootings, school shootings, and mostly peaceful but slightly fiery riots have gone across America over the last 10 years, and I think we know exactly where 90% of the 5% of the political violence is coming from. Amen. Amen. Somebody asking to name the names of the people that objected. We're going to try to find that, Bulldog, try to find that, would you please? It was disgraceful. Well, they were doing it anonymously. I don't even know if they're identifiable. We'll see. So my buddy, State Senator Marty Flynn, posted, it was an idiotic post about Charlie Kirk, saying that he was bringing up morality. What? Are you out of your mind? Marty Flynn bringing up, well, maybe he was immoral and blah, 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 but there's no place for us in Unite. What the hell is that? So I sent him a text and said, your comments regarding Charlie Kirk were effing stupid. And you should apologize. He said, thank you for your opinion. Then we have a guy named Brian Fallon. He works for State Representative Bridget Malloy Kozarowski. And he brings up the Second Amendment. What did the second, basically, he favored Charlie Kirk, the Second Amendment. Did he favor murder? Brian Fallon, you are so stupid. You're so idiotic. I hope she fires you. I hope she has the guts to fire you. You're an idiot. He's in constituent services for State Rep Bridget Kozarowski. Then we have this disgusting Scranton face painting or face painting Scranton. Now, this person is scum. They posted, guess he's up to date with his shots now about Charlie Kirk. There is nothing that could happen to them in their business short of violence that they don't deserve. Because this is the same a-hole that put their Texas Trump-loving houses floated into Mexico after one of the floods. Is her name Rachel Lavelle? Face painting Scranton. I don't want you anywhere near my children, you piece of spit. You're a piece of spit. Then there was a couple of teachers, I believe in Valley View School District. I have one name, I don't have the other. Melissa McGowan is one of them. Now, during school time, they posted this saying from Oscar Wilde, basically saying some people do good when they leave, referencing Charlie Kirk. Should be fired. I don't want that person, Melissa McGowan, anywhere near children. You're sick. Absolutely sick. And you're stupid on top of that. My God, if you think, if you're that demented, Melissa McGowan and Brian Fallon and Rachel Lavelle of Face Painting Scranton, if you're that demented, try to keep your stupid, idiotic, warped mind from exiting your pen, your keyboard, or your mouth. Dear God. Sick people. Sick. And there was things like that all over the country, and they happen. But I'm more than happy to call them out. More than happy. Sickening. You're a teacher. You're a teacher. This is the example you set for children? In the face of an assassination, in the face of martyrdom? What was Charlie Kirk killed for? And by the way, I heard Nancy this morning talking, well, they don't know the idea. Yes, we do. We knew it the moment he was shot. We also knew there was trans and this anti-fascism nonsense on the gun and the bullets, the casings. We don't know. Oh, well, we don't know. Again, that's the left. They ignore fact, truth, and reality to continue their false, lying narrative. That's what they do. And Mr. Paul points out so many obvious lies. I mean, they had the interview with our hopefully former mayor the other day, and Page said he was driven crazy by Joe Biden's border policies. You want to talk about lying? You want to talk about lying? Page was driven crazy by Joe Biden's border policies. My God, how stupid do you think we are? That's the arrogance. Somebody said, Bob, there was a Scranton business that made a disgusting post with a picture of Charlie Kirk saying he got all his shots. I brought it up. That's Face Painting Scranton. Face Painting Scranton. I'm not for... Well, by the way, if you want to use a sick, insane person like that, a cruel, warped person like that, for anything, be my guest. Yeah, you're going to see. And by the way, I pointed out yesterday that a lot of people on the left, I don't care if they didn't mean it, they made the right statements. From Nancy Pelosi to Governor Newsom. But if there's a but anywhere in your statement, like Marty Flynn did, you are wrong. 1,000%. You should be ashamed and you should apologize. Period. And at that period, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll return. What are you doing? Billy Ray Cyrus. We're going patriotic music today. Murph asked me. I said, you got it. That's one of our veterans songs, so I thought it was a veterans thing early. Billy Cyrus, Some Gave All. We're waiting for the FBI update from our man Rob O'Donnell and through the New York Post. We can pre-identify, I believe, it's the killer of Charlie Kirk, 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson. He was turned in by his father via a minister intermediary. So thank you, Rob, for that through Mr. Paul, our executive producer. So that's probably the name we're going to hear. We'll see. And they'll go through it all. But quite amazing. I want to mention again, State Senator Marty Flynn. An idiotic statement he made. Because if you have but in a statement over a guy who was peacefully discussing issues, and all his moorings were in God and the Bible. And I'm not some super religious person either. But Marty, when someone has a true moral core, just because they disagree with you, because you go along with most left-wing lunatic nonsense in the state Senate, I point out, you were wrong with the post you made. Wrong. And you should apologize. Brian Fallon should be fired from Bridget Kozarowski's staff. Face painting Scranton, let's hope you get your just reward, which is no more business from anyone. You're sick. Melissa McGowan, you should not be teaching our children in Valley View. Period. Frightening. Bob is Donald from Pittston. He says, the left research is nothing. There are so many worse things I could call them, but because of the current political environment, I just say they are truly dumb as wood, which they are. The left and Democrats prove me right every time they post something online or make a political statement. So that's the problem. And I don't care. Slice it and dice it however you want. And Trump was making the point, however inarticulate he is, and he is. He's not an articulate guy. He just says what's on his mind, though, and he's very direct and blunt. And the point is that the violence is coming from the left, the lunatic left. And they're being stoked by a Democrat Party which is calling people like Trump fascists for simply believing in common sense. frightening. And these attacks over the last, 5 years? Maybe more? Almost exclusively left-wingers. Now, you're going to see the left-stream media, when it is disclosed what this sicko's motivations were. And yes, he's a left-wing lunatic. He's captured and he'll be announced. And repeating again, 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson, turned in by his father. Well, that's a good father. Didn't want to see his kid get killed, and he knew his kid did something evil and vile. And they turned him in via a minister who was an intermediary. Well, they're at the podium. They're starting to do mic checks, so we'll see if we get to it. Bulldog, let's do our Veterans Tribute for the first hour. We'll sneak it in here quickly if we can. Brought to you by our man John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. A couple of great things. Not only can you go to the Stegmeyer Mansion in Atera 519 Scranton, Stegmeyer Mansion, but the Scranton Art House this weekend, downtown Scranton, Lackawanna Avenue. They have football on those huge, beautiful screens with great food and your favorite adult beverages this Sunday, the Eagles-Chiefs game. What a great idea. Leonard Koval, Wilkes-Barre. We lost him at age 92 on September 7th. His life was shaped by service, loyalty, and love. He was from the great North Wilkes-Barre neighborhood, a James Coughlin graduate. He served his country, private first class in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean conflict. He later joined the Pennsylvania State Police, stationed in Harrisburg and York County. But then for more than 40 years, he was with the Wilkes-Barre City Fire Department, serving with courage and devotion, proudly wearing the #1 badge as a symbol of his duty. Faithful to his Roman Catholic faith, he was a devoted member of St. Stanislaus Costa in Wilkes-Barre. Member of the Marine Corps League, Fraternal Order of Police, International Association of Firefighters, Veterans of Foreign Wars. And this place I've got to go to, because I'm a Slovak. North End Slovak Citizens Club. Also a member of the Polish-American Veterans of Plain Township. He was also a man behind the camera, quietly capturing family milestones. Sharp aim at the dartboard, laughter, and his harmonica filled every birthday with song. He and his wife, the former Mary McDaniels, celebrated 67 years of marriage, March 1st this year. Besides his beloved Mary, he will be dearly missed by his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Leonard Koval. John Fatula. He was from Hazelton. We lost him August 30th at age 90. He was born in Freeland, graduated from Hazel Township High School, and served us in the U.S. Army. Honorably discharged in April of 1963. After that, he worked various jobs, but then guess what? He became one of our great U.S. Postal Service letter carriers, retiring after 33 years as fleet manager in 2000. He loved to golf. Remember the Young Men's Polish Association, the McAdoo Fire Company? He was the senior potato pancake maker. Potato pancakes. He was also a member of the Hazelton Area High School football team chain gang. Surviving his wife for 62 years, Gladys, his sons, grandchildren, and other family members. John Fatula. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality. I'm telling you, you got to catch the football game at the Scranton Art House. You'll never see it better. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, partly to mostly sunny. Maybe a passing shower. High 78. Tonight, mostly clear and mild. Low of 55. Tomorrow, clouds then sunshine, 80 degrees. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, maybe a shower. Low 55. Sunday, more clouds than sun, but it will be 80 degrees. And then Monday, mostly sunny, 77 degrees. Alan Jackson, where were you when the world stopped? Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. We're awaiting this press conference where we anticipate and that we're going to hear that the murderer was Tyler Robinson, turned in by his father via a minister intermediary. Rob O'Donnell alerted us through our executive producer, Mr. Paul, and that's what we're guessing we're going to hear, and maybe they'll talk a little bit about how they caught him. But their original time was 9 o'clock, then delayed to 9:30. Now we haven't gotten underway quite yet. I'll read you Marty Flynn's post. And I had a lot of people call me they know I like Marty Flynn. And some of them are angry that I do. But I said, I'm going to call him out. It doesn't matter. He says, personally, I found Charlie Kirk morally offensive. That statement is so stupid, it's beyond comprehension. He was morally offensive because he had a deep belief in God. Now, that is the insanity of Democrat thinking. And he continues, and couldn't stand him. What? You didn't even know what the hell you're talking about, Marty. Zero. No idea. No effing clue. And then he says, but there's no place for violence against people who have different beliefs. We are all in this together. We are the United States of America. So he thought that was a clever unifying post. It was factually asinine. Quite amazing. I don't know. What would make you do that? I'm not like to show I'm still a tough Democrat. I don't get it. A guy just got his throat blown out by a sick left-wing trans activist. Speaking to college students. Not attacking college, speaking to them. Speaking truth. And there's a but in there? I don't get it. In fact, he started with idiocy and then said, but morally, what? Insane. Again, you get in this Democrat left echo chamber. It's controlled almost completely by the left-wing lunatics. Look at Billy Gunn. Look at Paige Cognetti. They're left-wing loons. And even though Marty Flynn doesn't swallow it all, he obviously swallows a lot of it. Absolutely horrendous. And then the best posts I saw on Facebook yesterday were people who said essentially this: if you have a but, if you're going to comment on the Charlie Kirk assassination and you have a but in there at all, unfriend me. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want discourse with you. Those were great. Those were the posts that were great. Somebody texts in, the total stupidity of the people posting nonsense about Charlie Kirk, who loved this country and God and never once promoted violence. Yep. Charlie would say, prove me wrong, and the left were defeated every time, so they had to murder him in cold blood. So cowardly. A great man is now gone. You got it. Somebody texts in, Marty Flynn could have also not posted at all. Exactly. To make some stupid ass backwards point that you're trying to, I don't even know what you're trying to do. Don't post at all. What do you have to be heard on every issue? Especially issues you have no idea what you're talking about? Somebody texts in, face painting Scranton just alienated 50% of its customer base. 50%? 50%? Remember the post, picture of Charlie Kirk. Guess he's up to date on his shots now. If that's not 99% of their customer base, I'll be shocked. Who wants to deal with somebody like that? Who wants to give them money? Who wants them around their children? And don't forget, remember how sick this person is. They also posted back when their Texas Trump-loving houses floated into Mexico. Wow. See, they should have people talking about public execution. No. We're not doing violence back. No. But this person and this Melissa McGowan, this alleged teacher, And there was another teacher by the name of Moran posted the same thing. There should be public stocks. They should bring that back. Public stocks. Go to the stocks. Stay there. Let everybody know what an ass you are. Somebody texted in, Bob, how does a guy like Marty Flynn keep getting elected? There has always been issues with his temper and maturity. What redeeming quality does he have? LTS, Eric, and Exeter. In Lackawanna County, it's not the same as in Luzerne. And remember, he's in the middle of this huge political fight where we haven't had a commissioner for 8 months, a third commissioner. He's in this huge political fight in the sandbox with little Billy Gaughan, silly Billy Gaughan. Incredible. Well, it's time for Bloomberg Money Minute. We will get to that press conference when the time comes. We want to hear what happened, how they exactly got him, although our man Rob and New York Post, Rob O'Donnell and the New York Post told us. We'll be back. Who's that, Bulldog? Waylon Jennings? When the Eagle Flies. Love that song. Who's that, Bulldog? Hey, my man Nicky DeSanto sent this in. He said, I miss 9/12, is what it says. It said, I would never want another 9/11, but I miss the America of 9/12. Stores ran out of flags to sell because they were being flown everywhere. People were American before they were upper or lower class, Jewish or Christian, Republican or Democrat. We hugged people without caring if they ate at Chick-fil-A or wore Nikes. On 9/12, that's the anniversary we celebrate today. What mattered more was what united us than what divided us. Thank you, Nikki. That's great. That is great stuff. By the way, something else he had sent to me, and I was looking for it yesterday. I couldn't get it in time. Talking about the people, we honored the dead of 9/11 yesterday in place of, and Charlie Kirk, in place of our normal veterans. 8 paramedics, 72 police officers, 343 firefighters, and 2,551 civilians died on September 11th. Always remember that. Thank you, Nikki, for great stuff yesterday and today. I want to get something in before the press conference starts. Maybe it's not starting in a bit. But before our news, prayer is not about asking for things, Mother Teresa says. Prayer is about putting yourself in the hands of God. Make yourself available to him and learn to listen to his voice in the depths of your heart. Saint Teresa, Mother Teresa for today. Always perfect, always poignant. Well, I look at my Cordaro Jewelers watch, and I got to remember this. I was in Bacardo's yesterday, talking with the guys, talking with Alex. He'll be on today with us, in fact. And they've got Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, and Seiko watches. You know what else they have? Raymond Weil, Victorinox, and Tory Burch watches. It is a gorgeous store, and I've got my Cordaro Jewelers watch on, and as I look at it, it tells me it's time for the news with Mark Nashko. We'll be back after this and go to this press conference when they're ready. They're beginning the press conference on the Charlie Kirk assassination. We'll go right to it, and we'll come back. We got Andy Mihalchik for another anniversary today. Well, we took that press conference live. I mean, a lot of blabber. We told you that through Rob O'Donnell and New York Post and Mr. Paul that the name of the guy, he's under arrest. Here's how he got arrested. And then we go on for 35 minutes, but that's the way they go. All right. We're here. Now, there is another anniversary, this 12th. And the guy who covered the story, this tragic, brutal story that shocked not only Northeast Pennsylvania, but the world. And that is our friend Andy Mihalchik, who is with us now, WBRE, WYOU investigative reporter. Andy, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good morning, Bob. Happy Friday. And, this is something, 2 weeks in a row. That's, I don't know if it's good or bad for you or me, but I'm always a pleasure to join you on your show, Bob.
Hey, well, Andy, I tell this to everybody around here. I tell the jokes around here, okay?
Okay, I got it. I didn't get that memo. I missed that memo.
All right, well, you got it now, my man. Hey, on a September 12th, you started covering a story that blew into national prominence. Our state police getting shot here in Northeast Pennsylvania, one of them killed.
Yep.
Take it from there.
Yeah, September 12th, 2014. It is hard to believe that that's 11 years ago today. And real quick, some background. Corporal Brian Dixon was shot and killed by Eric Freen. Trooper Alex Douglas was seriously injured. He could have died if not for the heroic actions of troopers that pulled him to safety at the Blooming Grove Barracks in Pike County. Basically, Eric Freen laid in wait in the woods near the barracks, and the Blooming Grove Barracks is in a wooded area. It's a very rural area, Bob. So no place, first of all, you're not expecting to be ambushed. But number two, he laid in wait. It was around 11 o'clock at night that night, opened fire, killed Corporal Dixon, and again, nearly killed Alex Douglas, he's still recovering from his injury, seriously injured. And that led to a 45-day nationwide manhunt. And it was just unbelievable. And real quick story, I lived in Hazelton then, and it was late at night on a Friday night, and I get some calls from my police contacts around the state and said, we hear about something about troopers being ambushed, and they got me a location, and they weren't sure exactly what happened, and then that began to unfold around midnight. And, Bob, I can tell you we were live on the air by 3:30 a.m. on 2822 News, live on the air. We cut in the middle of the morning, and we were just constant, almost continuously reporting troopers ambushed, one killed, a search for a suspect. And, of course, at that point, they didn't know it was Eric Freen from the Cannon-Densest area of Monroe County.
Well, it was so scary that the people who protect us couldn't be protected in that moment. I just remember I was in prison at the time. I just remember my reaction was absolute horror that this had happened.
Well, and you know what, Bob? Think about it. Several weeks ago in Susquehanna County, we had two troopers shot, and thank goodness they're okay, and they're actually going to be honored tonight at a high school football game in Susquehanna County. But it was when that happened, it was a flashback to me, and I thought, of course, I'm thinking, please don't anyone obviously get hurt or killed. But that situation with Eric Freen led to a massive manhunt, and he was eventually captured, and I believe it was October 30th. Let me see here, October 30th. It was a 45-day search at an abandoned airport hangar. And during that search, I mean, the whole area was on edge because, especially in that part of the Poconos, because where was this guy? Who was this guy? Then they were able to put a name out there, but he eluded U.S. Marshals for all that time.
That was the amazing part. The second part of the story, there was the horror of the killing and the wounding of the two state troopers, which, again, it just tore my heart out. And then then we couldn't find him. And we looked like boobs. we looked like, my God, our Pennsylvania State Police, vaunted Pennsylvania State Police, can't even find this guy. What was the reaction? Because you were talking and interacting with the state police and the federal officials every day. What was their reaction?
Well, I could tell you, and I'm always respectful. Listen, I'm not a police investigator. They do their job. They're trained. I'm not. But I was asking questions that we're hearing just like you just posed. Why is it taking so long to get this guy? And, of course, it's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback in any profession. I get that. So I would ask the question, what do you say to those folks who say, you know who this guy is. You have 400 or 500 marshals, troopers, state police, local, plus the public, but law enforcement everywhere. And you name the gadget: airplanes, drones, heavy ATVs, horseback, dogs. And you still can't find this guy. Is this guy outsmarting you? Obviously, but he knew the area, and what their response was. I understand. He knew the area. That was his backyard. So, we all know our neighborhoods. We all know where the hiding spots are. You can bring in all that great technology, but, if you're 15 feet underground or in a tunnel, you're not going to be seen. So, and real quick story, Bob, there was times, of course, we were moving from location to location between Pike, Monroe County, right? Parts of Wayne County, sightings were made. And we'd be on one night in particular, very quick, bear with me. We're parked along a desolate, isolated road. Us and some local residents who had been evacuated in the early days from their homes because they didn't know who this guy was. They're going door to door. They didn't want people going into their homes, and there's this guy at the point they didn't know who it was. And we're sitting there, my photographer, I won't say his name right now. It was a crisp night in September, and people were all these cars maybe 4 or 5 car lengths away from each other. So we didn't know where this guy was. He could be right in the woods there.
Yeah.
My photographer says to me, I said, Tony, shut the car off. He says, why? I said, because the leaves are dry. If he approaches us, we'll hear him. And he said, do you think he could kill us? I said, I'm going to be honest with you, Tony. If he wanted us dead, we'd be already dead. Because this guy already ambushed 2 troopers. He took lives. He wanted to take more. So, but again, we weren't heroes, but we were doing our job as best we can to inform the community. But honestly, after all these years, Bob, it was one of the most tense stories I ever covered. Because
you were in harm's way. They're very clearly in harm's way.
You knew what could happen, and we left a couple of locations, and next thing you know, a half hour, 2 hours later, we get a call that they're searching. He was hiding where we were parking with our live truck, and with other media, too. It wasn't just us. So it was a scary situation. And the families up there, we saw people with guns sitting on the front steps saying, listen, and they wanted this guy to know, you come my way, you're going to face firepower,
Was it among the most interesting / amazing stories you covered in your 30 years, Andy Mihalcik?
Absolutely. I absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, we have all kind of controversy, scandals, that kind of thing. And, any death is horrible. As you heard in the Kirk situation, every loss of life or injury is horrible. They're all individual tragedies. But this really, almost like the Kirk or the Susquehanna County deal, it was an attack on all of us. Because here's 2 state troopers who are protecting us, who we depend on, protect our citizens, and all of us. When we go to sleep at night, hey, there's a cruiser out front, there's a state police nearby, local police by. We feel safe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's not Disney World, we get it, but they're out there keeping an eye out, and here they are coming into work, and they're ambushed by this I'll say the word coward, hiding in the woods with a rifle. I mean, that really shocked everyone. Until this day, Bob, honestly, when I see things like Kirk or the Susquehanna County shooting a couple of weeks ago, troopers, I'm human like everyone else. It bothers me deeply, But I turn that into action, hopefully, and do reports on what happened, why, and what we do to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, the great Andy Mihalcik, thank you so much for bringing us back to this story, back to this time. It was a big deal. And frankly, it still should be. Our police, I read the policeman's prayer that my friend Nikki DeSanto gave me every Friday because they're going out there into the unknown, and this could happen at any time. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And one last note, I'll tell you, I've worked with police for a lot of years. Honestly, listen, we're all human. People have faults. They have whatever. But by far, 99.9% of the law enforcement I've worked with for the last 50 years in this business They just want to do the right thing and protect people. And they're human beings too. They have feelings and stuff. But you know what? When they get in police mode, protective mode, they're something I know I could never do that job ever, ever, ever.
Andy Mahalchik, thank you so much. We look forward to the next time we get to talk to you.
Yeah, and Bob, real quick story. We did a political podcast on 2822 Now app. Check it out, Bob. You're still out there in the Mahalchik Files. We'll have you back on talking politics and any other issue facing northeastern Pennsylvania for sure. Because I think it's the more communication, the more info out there, the better.
And we'll have you here as well. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you, sir. Be
Thank
safe.
you. The great Andy Mahalchik, WBRE WYOU. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We got to sneak in the Pie Man. The Pie Man cometh after these messages and the Bloomberg Money Minute. The Pie Man cometh. He's lateth, but he's heareth. Peter Della Porta. How are you, my man?
Robert!
This is going to be like Berman on Monday Night Football. You got 2 minutes. Go get him.
I know.
Fire away.
I know. Good morning and happy Friday. But first, Bob, real quick, I just wanted to add to your voice my admiration, respect, and prayers for Charlie Kirk and his family.
Amen.
He brought the sorely needed discussion of our day's issues to our youth with calmness, thoughtfulness, and intelligence.
Amen. Thank you, Pie.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, welcome to week 2 of the NFL season. Our Eagles are flying out to Kansas City for 25 game and a rematch of Super Bowl 59, in which the Eagles dominated the Chiefs 40-22.
Pie Man, we have one of our great sponsors who he's got a movie theater called Scranton Art House. Big screen, like a big screen movie theater. They're having a game. They're showing the game on their big screens on Sunday, downtown Scranton.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And they'll come up for it.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, last week they beat the Cowboys 24-20. Hurts was sharp. He had a great game. But I was particularly impressed with Vic Fangio's defensive adjustments during the game, resulting in the Cowboys not scoring in the second half. You know Vic Fangio as he's the defensive coordinator, but he's better known as Bob Cordaro's golf partner.
I just want to beat. I'm gonna have to have Vic Fangio let me meet Big Dom.
Right.
You know. Well, okay. Now, Pie Man. All right, we don't have to. I want your prediction.
Steak eating contest.
Yeah, right. I want your prediction, my man.
All right, and the Chiefs lost last week to the Chargers. Justin Herbert picked apart their secondary all day. My predictions are, Saquon Barkley said yesterday, if they stack the box, the receivers are going to have a field day. If they don't, I'm going to make them pay. Let's expect a huge game from A.J. Brown. This was very strange how Vegas opened Kansas City as a 1.5 underdog in the game. I've never seen this, Bob, how it's gone up and down. Then the Eagles were the underdog by a point and half a point, and right now, as we're speaking, it's half a point.
Okay.
So
the Eagles are
the
dogs.
Over-under's 47. Even with this one in Arrowhead, Eagles have shown they know how to beat them and handily. I predict, Bob, the Eagles 26, the Chiefs 21.
All right. The Pie Man. He cometh, he rusheth, and now he goeth. 26-21's the call. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. And I love your thoughts on Charlie Kirk, too. Thank you.
Yeah, you have a great show, Bob. I love it.
Thank you, Pie
Thanks
Man.
for having me on.
You make it great. Thank you, Pie Man. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11 o'clock. And change, which means it's time for the news with Mark Nashko. We'll be back after that. More football, the Weekend Warrior. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:14 on the nose. This beautiful Friday, September 12, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. It's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our friend John Basiliga and Scranton Art House featuring the Eagles-Chiefs game on the huge screen Sunday, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like John Fatula, Hazelton, Leonard Koval, we think he's my cousin, Wilkes-Barre, Ralph Middaugh, James Newell, Harvey's Lake, Reverend Rick Clark, Lebanon, and Chet Stackhouse, Bloomsburg. Veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guide, let us begin and continue today's fight. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, and promising you that for the balance of this hour, because of our commitment to common sense, you will have a sanctuary of sanity in a world gone mad. And we're having this argument that the left wing is decrying. I want you to notice something, and the governor, in his long-winded fashion, governor of Utah, he brought it up, and I had it in my notes to bring it up, so I'm happy he did first, but it's worth repeating. Now, one of our conservative leaders, thought leader, charismatic leader, as I told you, if you pointed to one individual who made the difference in last fall's election, it was Charlie Kirk. So he's gunned down by a left-wing sicko. And was there one riot? Was there one store looted? I always point out when you have these things happen, oh, of course, you've got to get the big screen TV. That shows that you're really committed to civil rights. You're committed to your cause. Grab the big screen TV. There was not one riot, not one bit of looting. Please tell me where the political violence comes from. The left, period. And sad to say, full stop. Full stop. And it just becomes undeniable. And you guys know it on both sides of the aisle. Hey, I want to read this real quick because we've got so much to catch up on. I want to read it again. My man Nicky DeSanto sent it in. It said, I miss 9/12. I would never, ever want another 9/11, but I miss the America of 9/12. Stores ran out of flags to sell because they were being flown everywhere. People were American before they were upper or lower class, Jewish or Christian, Republican or Democrat. We hugged people without caring if they ate at Chick-fil-A or wore Nikes. On 9/12, what mattered more was what united us than what divided us. Yeah. Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. Well, it's a football weekend. Well, what does that mean? Well, sometimes it means the Pie Man, but it always means the weekend warrior, our man, Sid Hallinan. Sid, how are you?
Good, Bobby. What's up? How you doing today?
We're excited to have you back on this week. Week 2 of the NFL, actually already in gear. And Sid, you had a great weekend last weekend.
Yeah, good weekend, Bob. 3-1. I had a winner last night, but that goes by the wayside.
Yeah, well, I say that's in. We know. See, you're one of the few people who admits when he doesn't win a game. So we believe you when you say you were going to predict the game.
Yeah, well, I like Green Bay with the 3 at home. It seemed like a no-brainer. But on we go to Sunday.
All right. Well, do you have any college games you're thinking about, or not yet?
Yeah, I do. I do like Notre Dame Saturday night against Texas A&M, -6.5. Notre Dame's at home with an extra week to practice. Got off to a slow start against Miami, but the second half, offensively and defensively, Notre Dame played very well. So I'm going with the Irish at home, -6.5 over Texas A&M.
Okay. Any other college games catch your eye?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it, Bob. I took your buddy's advice there. You got to wait a few weeks because these teams are all over the place with that transfer portal.
Crazy. They're ruining the game, man. They're ruining the game, man.
After about 3 weeks, that should settle in, and everything should go straight on from there.
All right, let's talk NFL Sunday.
NFL, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys -4.5 over the Giants. Dallas is Dallas, but the Giants are still the Giants, Bob.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
There's
an old
there.
University of Rochester football player, not a teammate because he's younger, is the head coach of the Giants. He's got nothing.
They're hurting.
Wow.
Not that they can't turn it around. Their defensive line is very good, but offensively they looked pathetic last week.
Okay.
Here's one for you that first underdog I'm going to take all year. I'm going to take the Jets +7 against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. I thought the Jets played very well on Sunday. A couple of fumbles, big fumbles at key parts of the game cost them. Buffalo is Josh Allen, and they're never out of a game if you saw the game the other night.
Yeah.
So, but I do like the Jets. They look encouraging. We're going to take the Jets +7.
Okay.
Maybe not the win, but the cover with the 7.
All right. You got
the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah, you got to tell us what you think. We heard the Pie Man, but I want to hear what Sid says. And I'm telling people they can catch it at the Scranton Art House. It's going to be like a Super Bowl party down there on Sunday.
I heard about that on your show, and a few other people were talking about it. This game is going to be much closer than people think. I don't think the Birds, and I love the Birds, but they did not look good last Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
You had the rain delay, the lightning delay, slowed Dallas down, and I don't like Dallas. But the Eagles really, there's something missing there. I don't know what it is. Hopefully they get back on track this week. I just think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be real close. Don't be surprised if it comes down to a field goal at the end. But I'm going to stay with my Birds and take the Eagles with a 1.5.
Okay, and you get a 1.5, right?
No, they're given. The
Eagles
they're given.
The
Chiefs are a home dog.
Okay, very good.
So after that, I have Arizona -6.5 over Carolina. Arizona's an up-and-coming team. Carolina's Carolina. Nothing's going to change there. And I like the Rams -5.5 over Tennessee. And that's it.
All right. So Dallas, the Jets, the Eagles, Arizona, L.A. Rams, and on Saturday, if you're courageous, Notre Dame. How about that?
Notre Dame.
Neat.
We got it.
Well, that's a great lineup, Sid. I'm looking forward to finding out how it all breaks down.
Yeah, maybe we'll find Ralph by next week and track Ralph down somewhere.
Well, you're covering it all. We're not worried about that. Sid Hallinan, the Weekend Warrior, he's just stepping out. He's got his picks. Thank you, my man.
Thanks, Bobby. Have a good weekend.
All right. We'll take a break. Hear from our great sponsors. Little music, little history after that. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Toby Keith, the late, great Toby Keith, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Murph, another great list of music today. And before that, see, this is when you could have been proud to be a Democrat. 1962, this date, John F. Kennedy. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. And we want to test ourselves, and we're great, and we're going to do it. What the hell has become of that party? It's sick and twisted ideology. Everything negative about this guy. They would have hated John F. Kennedy. Please reflect on that if you're a Kennedy Democrat and you still want to be a Democrat. They would have despised him. They would have despised everything he stood for, everything he tried to do. This ain't your father's Democrat Party. They're weak, sick, and they want everybody else to be weak and sick. They want everybody to shrink to their level. They don't believe in merit. This sick bastard that shot and killed Charlie Kirk, they don't even have the balls to have a discussion, to have a disagreement, to have an argument, because they know they are wrong about everything. If somebody texted in, if these insane, unhinged nutcases on the left think that Donald Trump is a fascist, they think people like Charlie Kirk is a fascist. What are they going to do if, God forbid, Democrats get their way with their insane policies and socialism takes hold, which ultimately leads to communism, which leads to fascism? Well, it doesn't, but that name is thrown around too loosely. And then they're really living under government thumb. I think when they're going to look back at people like Trump and wish they had the good old Trump days back. Well, we're not going to let it happen, Scott the Slapjagger. Not going to let it happen. This is a call to continue this battle. Please remember, I know somebody points out, what if somebody like on the left were murdered like AOC? What would they do? Think of it. I want to point out again, I want to talk about where the violence is coming in our politics today. What happened when one of our great thought leaders, one of our charismatic leaders in the conservative movement was killed? We let law enforcement go and do their job and find this scum. What would happen on the other side? What has happened every time on the other side? They caused billions of dollars in damage, deaths, attacks on police, burning and looting for a common criminal caught in the middle of a criminal act, George Floyd. They put up statues for the guy. Well, somebody had proposed, let's tear down the George Floyd statues and put up Charlie Kirk statues. With quotes of him talking about his faith. They went insane for George Floyd. Please think about it. God loved me was a human being. Should not have been treated like he was. But he died because of fentanyl overdose. He swallowed his own drugs trying to elude the police, and it killed him. That idiot was just on top of him, Derek Chauvin. Please remember this. Please remember. Shouldn't even have to point it out. It's obvious. All right. We're going to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to come back. We got a veterans tribute. And the weather. And, a little ditty that we like to play after the weather. And then we got Tom Hallinan from the Bucktown Music Fest. They've got another one of the canceled shows coming up this Sunday. Well, can you top Murph performing? You can't, but it's still a great time, and the weather's going to be perfect. We'll talk to Tom Hallinan, the founder of our feast, after all of that. Our veterans tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. Basiliga Hospitality and among the many hotspots, Scranton Art House. Eagles, Chiefs on Sunday on the biggest screen possible. James Newell. He was 78 when he passed September 3rd. He was from Harvey's Lake. He was born at home in Harvey's Lake back in 1946. Graduated from Lake Lehman High School, class of 64. Drafted in the U.S. Army. He served during the Vietnam era, stationed in Germany. He continued his education after his service in the electrical field at Wilkes-Barre Votech. He went on to work for Tom Ash Plumbing and Heating and several years as foreman for Ralph Stogowski and Sons. He then began his career at Procter & Gamble in 1980, working as an electrician in the E&I department until he retired in 2003. He loved to travel. He went across the states with his wife in their motorhome. He could build or fix anything. He'd help anyone in need. Loved the daily crossword puzzle. Surviving her, his wife for 55 years. The former Donna Kocher, their 2 children, son and daughter, their grandchildren. And of note here, as I think of my friend Greg Vladika, who needs a liver, Jim was grateful and blessed to be a lung transplant survivor for nearly 10 years. He received his gift of life December 29, 2015 at Temple University, and he couldn't have done it without the love of his life, Donna, by his side, nursing and loving him through those 10 amazing years. The additional time had been priceless for his family. James Newell. Ralph Middaugh. He died August 31st. Love this obit. If you knew Ralph, you probably got teased, pranked, or lovingly tormented at some point, and you are the better for it. On August 31st, 2025, he hung up his tool belt, parked his truck one last time, and left us all with stories that we will be telling and laughing about for the rest of our lives. He leaves behind the love of his life, Dorothy, who somehow put up with his jokes, sarcasm, and affection for 57 amazing years. 3 kids, 3 grandchildren who he adored. He attended Ashley Area High School and briefly graced the halls of Coughlin High School. He served us in the Pennsylvania National Guard, the great, famous 109th Field Artillery out of the Kingston Armory, where they likely learned quickly he could fix anything and had an opinion about everything. His family says he worked hard his whole life. He worked for driving truck for Addy Asphalt, Heckinger Home Project Center, ERT Waste Services. If it had an engine, he could fix it. He could drive it and tell you how you were doing it wrong. The garage was Ralph Middaugh's sanctuary, a place for cars, conversation, and maybe a little cussing. He loved his family fiercely, gave more than he had, and could be counted on for both a good joke and a helping hand. Generous to a fault. Ralph Middaugh. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga. And we've got to think Basiliga hospitality heading into this weekend. The Old Brook Inn, Far Street Tavern, Scranton Art House for the Phillies, or for the Eagles Chiefs game on Sunday. Fine dining beyond compare at Atera 519 Scranton, the Stegmar Mansion, Wilkes-Barre. Great nightlife at Sergei's, the nightclub. And, of course, the Old Brook Inn, the Far Street Tavern, and the Queen City Tavern for casual fun. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, partly to mostly sunny, maybe a passing shower, high 78. Tonight, mostly clear and mild, low 55. Tomorrow, clouds, then sunshine, high 80. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, maybe a shower, down to 55. Sunday, more clouds than sun, 80 degrees. Monday, mostly sunny, 77. Sandy Patty, God bless America. Yes, he has. But we have to earn that blessing every day. Well, America's got a lot of great things. Our hometowns have a lot of great things going on. One of those, it's like a reunion every time it's done, is the Bucktown Music Fest. And the guy who founded it all, who came up with the idea and has kept it going, is Dunmore Borough Councilman Tom Hallinan. Tom, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
Hey, Robert. How are you today?
I'm great. Hey, another big Sunday night in Dunmore. Love it.
It's going to be unbelievable. We had a finale, but now this is our pseudo finale from a rain date, and it couldn't be any better. We have hometown favorites past our prime playing, opening up with Joey Papa, Phoebe Beckett, Sean Lotney, Tommy Boylan, and Angela Capone is going to join them. You know Angela.
Yeah.
She's going to have a few songs she's going to sing.
Love it.
And then we finish up with old friends, Jack Bordeaux, and it should be a fantastic evening. What a wrap to our 5th season. I would never have imagined when we first did this that this is how far we've come, and it's really great. And I think it's going to get bigger with the staff that we have on here now. We've added Carmela Mataloni, another friend of yours, and Posey Lavelle, Trip O'Malley. And you know what? The little things behind the scenes that people don't realize. We have the DPW guys that are fantastic in Dunmore. Our Dunmore police are outstanding. And our office staff, led by Olena Semchak, she's just there doing her work. And they never really get any credit, so I just wanted to give them a little plug today, Robert. And
More than happy to have you do that. More than happy to have you do that, because it takes a lot of people to put together what you do, and this Bucktown Music Fest, it's an unabashed success. It's been just fabulous. It really has.
Yes, and I know we got a big show, but it's going to be hard to beat Murph from last week.
Yeah,
I must say he's unique. If anything.
Always tough to top Murph. I mean,
Yeah.
And then, they brought him for the finale, and they thought it was the finale. But
Right.
I think Joey Papa will be fine.
Yes. It should be a fun evening. I pray that you come this time. There's a lot of people asking for you.
Well, I love it. I do love it. But you got grandchildren. You got this. You got that. I've got you've got this big game, the Eagles game down at Scranton Art House. I mean, there's always so much to do.
Absolutely. And
But-
that's just another ingredient to the mix of Northeast Pennsylvania. I understand there's a lot of things going on, but this is a great event. Put on by some great people and great musicians, and we try and keep it local, like just Northeast Pennsylvania musicians, and it is working out, and it's fantastic. And like I said, thank you again for letting us plug it. We really appreciate it.
Tommy, you've had the best of all of them, from Picture Perfect to Daddy-O. You couldn't get much better. Great series, finishing this Sunday, and I think it'll be as good as any of them. Thank you for doing it, and thanks for letting us talk about it. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Robert. You have a great day, and thank you for everything.
Bucktown Music Fest Sunday. People forget Elvis was one of the great gospel singers of all time. Amazing rendition of Amazing Grace. Keep playing it. We'll finish up with Ray Charles, but I've got to do the policeman's prayers, particularly on this anniversary of, and thank you to Andy Mihalchik for coming on to talk about it, the assassination of state police, near murder of a second. Policeman's prayer. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in your loving arms. And then Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick, which I found in the obituary of sweet Doreen Goriab a couple of years ago. With Charlie Kirk and that suddenness of his passing, we all must remember, you never know when it's all going to end. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say, I love you, instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold that loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. 12 on the nose on my Cordaro Jewelers watch, which means we've got to say adios and end this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you Monday. Have a great weekend. We are adjourned. Club for Common Sense.